All right, cool. Well, thank you everyone for joining in today. Our speaker for today is Satya Choudhury. He is a data analytics professional with a remarkable 19-year track record in the financial industry. With his passion for unlocking insights from complex data sets, he has consistently delivered innovative solutions to drive informed decision-making and optimize business performance. His ability to blend quantitative analysis with a keen understanding of the real estate market has enabled him to offer valuable insights and guide the team to making good investment decisions. And thanks to his expertise in data analytics, he possesses a deep-rooted passion for underwriting and primarily underwrites deals in Kansas City, Florida, and the Carolinas markets. He joined MIH Mastermind in March 2023 and spends his time educating himself about real estate and networking with fellow MIH members. He is the co-host of the MIH Underwriting pod along with me, and he's currently a GP in 12 units in Kansas City. So with that, I'll let Satya take it over from here.
Yeah, just to add, so as you can hear, I'm brand new to real estate, but it's been last few months, being amazing journey, meeting everyone, learning from everyone, and participating in all of the discussions possible, and networking, right? So I think it's been great journey. So I think you could realize, so we had two of the sessions in underwriting pod. First one was Harshad went through, then officially we made it under this umbrella that Scott presented. Then we had Foon. So I think we are making it more of a expert series, member series, expert series. So we are going through an alternative path so that we get to see, learn from us, our experience, and we'll make it more interactive. We get to get feedback from everyone and talk about things. Then next month we'll have an expert joining, and we can decide, okay, do we go through a deal, go to a complex scenario, how they handle it, we can figure that out. So that's, I thought, okay, it would be a good idea to have me present the deal that we closed in last Friday. It was and if we go through the underwriting, we feel like it's really easy. I think it was an easy deal from an underwriting standpoint, but the due diligence and other things, it was an amazing experience that I think we can talk about that. Let me share my screen. So I think maybe another 20 to 25 minutes, we can quickly go through the deals. Then we can open it up for discussion, and I'll share my experience more on the underwriting and due diligence on that property. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. This is the OM, and it's pretty simple. So this is at the Kansas City, Missouri. So it's in downtown, and the asking price was 1.7 million. And so the Carlos, I was expecting Carlos to join, so because he has a background, I think Cipriano, is. So he's been following with the broker. So this was a broker off market, and he's been following with him from last 1 year. So the discussion started last year, August 2022, and there was some quiet period in early this year that, okay, everyone felt like this deal was not on the plate. Then after a few months in February, then the seller through his broker reached out to our broker saying, okay, if you guys are still interested, we can make it work, right? So at that time we made an offer of 1.3 based on the underwriting, but they did not go through. So they said, okay, we can make it maximum 1.5. So our offer was 1.5, and that's what went through. So quickly on the location, so most of the units is fully renovated, right? So I think it's all LVT flooring, then it has the stainless steel appliances and everything else. So I think 1 or 2 units has carpet, because that's the ground floor, but it was kind of a turnkey project that we did not expect. much renovation to be done on this. So we felt confident. And when I go through the underwriting, you will realize our goal for this particular property was gain experience, because few of us were brand new to real estate, at least from the multifamily commercial real estate, like 5+ unit. Said, okay, let's leverage this to learn about KC market, as well as understand the business end to end. Even if we are not getting 8%, 9%, or 7% cash on cash, 15-20% IRR, so let's proceed it, go through it, and we'll learn along the way. So that was our expectation. So we're not expecting very high return from this. Based on that mindset, we started underwriting. So if you see the property, the location, it's in the great location in the market, or in the downtown Kansas City, with access to all the major retail stores, food chain, and like everything is there. And there is a sidecar, kind of a tram going through the line, and it's very close by, like walkable distance. So felt like, okay, it's a nice location, and turnkey project, not much renovation to be done. Said, okay, let's proceed with the underwriting, right? So with that, when we started with the underwriting, so if I go back here, and I'll not go through the numbers, I'll just show the main thing here. When we started underwriting this one, our expectation was it's already in 1124. And when we go through the rentometer, apartment.com, the rent comps, it was showing around 1200. Okay, so I said 1124 going into 1200. It was giving around 5.9% cash on cash and around 10% IRR. Said, okay, it's good, but again, it's not great if you compare with the other deals that you underwrite, right? Then I think we said, okay, let's put it in the contract. Like, you submitted the LOI, put it in the contract with the expectation that our goal was to gain experience rather than making it a profitable deal, right? That was our mindset. Might not be the great mindset to start with. But when we went to the property to start the due diligence, we realized the Kansas City, and that time Prabin and Amit, who is our partner, they were not there with us, right? So when we were there, we thought of meeting with them, and that's when they realized, when they joined us during the due diligence and the inspection, the property, they realized that it is a great location. Now, if I go back to this, I don't know if you guys know the Kansas City, there is a line somewhere, they call it twist. And the one side of that, it's kind of very rough area. The rent is 900 or 1000. Within half a mile or even less than that, the rent is 1400. So the rentometer, whatever it was showing, it was taking consideration by everything rather than that area that we should be focusing on. Now, talking to Prabin, which kind of the locals there, and Amit and the property management company, we realized that the rentometer was not trustworthy in this particular scenario because of that, the knowledge of that local market, or knowledge of that specifically the downtown area. So we started focusing on the area which is closer to the apartments, closer to our property, and we realized that the similar vintage, it's going around 1400 plus. So it's touching 1500, right? And it's all already renovated. So based on that, we still felt like, well, let's make it still conservative. So we went with 1300, because some of the lease were still expiring. 50% was lease expiring this year, and 50% of the leases are expiring next year. So we still not be able to apply all our target rent by end of year one, right? So that's why I felt like let's go still conservative and go with this 1300. So with that, I think we do see great return. Like if I go here, I think I need to check here. Yeah. So if we go with that, I think with the IRR is coming around 19% now. So it looks much better. And the year one, it's 8.7%. And we already started talking to the property management company, Prabin, Amit. We're already executing our business plan. We expect it would go much beyond 1300. So we're targeting 1400 on these properties. And that's because of the knowledge in that downtown area, the local area, that we feel confident that we can bump it up. And as well as the expectation is we can try out some of the short term, like when we're going through the inspection, we realize that one of the property is being leveraged as Airbnb. So it's being rented to a person and that person is doing Airbnb on that one, right? So I think we feel like we could try out at least 1 or 2 units Airbnb. So I think the Kansas City rule says that 25% or less you can leverage as a short-term rental. So we are going to try that out whenever which the lease is due on some of those properties, because one of the property, the renter already renovated to make it a Airbnb. Some of them are kind of stays that he can take it out, but some of them are already part of the structure itself. So we could leverage that and just add a little bit more capital to make it a short-term rental ready. So we do have plans, but again, felt like the initial assumption was gaining experience and we are going too conservative based on the traditional rentometer apartment.com. But now going to the property, talking to the locals, we understand that market much better, that we could bump it up our rent estimate, the projection a little bit higher than what we originally anticipated. And we feel a lot more confident now that we can meet that and even we can beat it, maybe $100 more.
Just a question, Satya, if you don't mind. That the guy who is doing Airbnb short-term rentals, does he have like does he have contract with which indicate that, or which shows that sublease?
That's a good question. Yes. So I think the one thing I missed, the seller motivation, right? So the seller was kind of mom and pop, and he was just doing it because he bought this property in 2018 and everything, roof and everything was fully replaced by the time, and he was just running it. So he did not care much, right? And his motivation was he wanted to sell it and go back to Vietnam. So that was his only motivation, right? So he wanted to sell it as quickly as possible, and if he get a good price, he'll do it, right? So we did not find any sublease, and what we found few days back, that the renter did not sign the lease agreement. So it has a lease, but that's the only unit that it doesn't have a signed lease. So we do have a flexibility to evict and leverage that as a Airbnb from day one. But again, we do have other plans to just test out the market with the 1300 and then prepare the two units for Airbnb. So I think, somewhat to your question, I did not find any sublease, but looks like, I'm sure it's there, but I think the current or the previous owner did not care that much.
Got it. Thanks.
Now so if I go back to the scenario, just wanted to show some of the learnings we had on the expenses, right? Since it was mom and pop, I think there was no management fees, and it's small. The owner itself will come in the morning and broom the common area, like vacuum the common area. See, he used to do his own, right? So but we just have to go with the management company, and we leverage the in-house management company that Prabin and Amit has. But since it's a smaller unit, but definitely we conservatively put 10% as a part of our underwriting. The biggest deal breaker, I would say, was the real estate tax. and we spend a lot more effort to come up with this estimate. So in Kansas City, it's kind of in that county, it's every odd year. So the tax assessment was due this year. And the previous year it was, which was in 2021 and 2022, it was around 9,000. So since it was a more stabilized property, 100% occupancy, and we're getting DSCR 1.25 plus, we felt confident to go with CBRE, right, for an agency debt. So we're getting 5.4 or 5.5 with 3-year IO and 10-year term. It was a great deal, right? Now, when CBRE underwrote this property, they put this real estate tax as 22,000 because they went by sell price and those mill rate calculation. They said it's 22,000. And when they put 22,000, initially they committed for 80% LTV. And since this one increased so much, right, we are targeting 18,000, and they said, okay, it's a lot. They said, okay, we can only give you 67% LTV, and that too prepayment penalty, right? That time we realized that we should also look for an alternative lending options with the local banks. And when we reach out to the local banks and with the existing relationship with Jeff, which is one of the partner, then Praveen with the same bank, they said, okay, we'll have a little bit higher rate, the 6.25, but you will have no prepayment penalty and you could refi anytime, we'll support you. So I think we thought a little bit more on the exit criteria because we felt confident. Initially, the idea was it's a stabilized property, let it run through it. We really don't need to worry about refi. But since we feel confident that we could bump up the rent and we could cash out much faster than 5-year or 10-year, so we felt like we should go with the local bank. And while doing that, we leveraged AI, right? So ChatGPT and Bird and other things. We said, okay, what's there in the market? So we realized there are a lot more news articles that the tax assessors and they, because when they said that it's the tax is going to be doubled based on this calculation, and we found out there is a latest news articles that in Kansas City, different news channels and the internet, that the tax assessor was doing a public announcement saying that it might go maximum 30%. So not doubled, right? So I think based on that, we could go through, because we did not see those news articles. We are going by the estimates. We're talking to I called a few of the tax assessor's office. They were not sure because they said, okay, we have not done the assessment yet, so we cannot commit to a number, but they were not telling that it's 30%. But through AI, we are able to scan through some of those news articles and say that, okay, it's 30%. So we could send it to the banks. They felt a little bit more confident, even if it's not concrete answer, they felt a little bit of confidence. Our main goal was, even if bank is underwriting it higher number, if the actual tax is higher, then our return would be low. We're expecting it would still be low. Even if bank is underwriting high, we might have a little bit lower LTV. We might have to put more down payment. We're more concerned about the actual tax that we have to pay, right? So one good thing happened is when we initially were planning to close this deal in mid-June, before my India vacation. That did not happen because seller said, I will do it after June 30th. So one good thing happened when we closed last week. The June tax assessment already happened in that county, and they did it based on the market value, not based on the sale price. So the tax is actually 12,000 instead of 18,000 that we underwrote, or the CBRE was predicting 22,000. So at least that 12,000 is locked in for another 2 years. So, and by the time, if we can refi in 2 years, that's great. But at least we have maybe $10,000, $15,000 savings because of that decision happened. So I think it's been great learning that, okay, agency debt and other things, those are good if you're thinking, okay, when you take the loan, but when you think about the exit strategy, like, do we really need to, what do we do at that exit strategy, even if you're paying a little bit more interest, but since there is no prepayment penalty, we felt more confident go with the local bank rather than CBRE.
Satya,
yeah,
that's a great point with the taxes, because not only does it help to know like which year, but the timing of that month is so critical. Like here, they do it January on odd years. So if you're closing at the end of the year, you could get bit at the beginning of the year. And the story that you just told is just amazing, because I think you guys were trying to close a little bit early, right? And he said, no, and you're like upset, but then that ignorance or that stubbornness saved you $6,000, right? So
yeah, so we are definitely following up with the tax assessor's office to get to a number, some estimate, so that we can send it to the bank. Our expectation never was to close it after the tax assessment, right? So now we know that if we're in that June or in that time frame, or as you said, in your case, if it is January, we can plan our closing accordingly, right? So I think then we really don't need to underwrite, but it's much better, right? It's much better that your return would be better than that you underwrote. Yeah, so I think that was definitely an eye opener, that CBRE and all, they make it very conservative, and it could be because of the market, right? Since the market was so volatile that CBRE initially they said, okay, we are going to give you 80%. Now you can only fund 67%. So I think we had to arrange for more capital. So that's one part of the story. The second part of the story was, when we do the initial due diligence and all, when you talk to the seller, they said, okay, the roofs were replaced in 2018. It has a 5-year warranty and it all looks great. But when we did the deep dive due diligence, called the roofer, we figured out the roof was not installed correctly, right? And our underwriting did not budget for that one, right? So when we got the quote, because we said, okay, the roof looks great, else we still have a 5-year warranty, right? So then when we called the roofer said, roof looks good, but since it was not installed properly, we have to tear down the roof, put some, I think the TPO or something, there is a membrane missing underneath that roof, right? So you have to pull that, then reinstall the roof, and it's going to cost around 60,000, and max it can go 90,000, because they have to, it was a flat roof, and so they have to take care of the electricals, they're in HVAC unit and bunch of other things. So we asked seller, can you give us, we said, okay, find out if you have a warranty that you can fix it, right? And if figure it out, there is no warranty, doesn't cover that, or the warranty was already over, something like that. And he said, I'm not going to pay 50,000 or 80,000. Then definitely we said, CBRE is definitely not an option. We already paid around $10,000 or $8,000 to CBRE to start the application process, do the inspection or survey and other things. But with this 60 to 80,000 capex budget that the roofer said, the roof looks good, it might sustain few years, but it can happen anytime, that you really need to have that budget. So with the local bank, it was easy because we had an existing relationship, and we were able to get around 250,000 capex budget line of credit approved. And we funded around 50,000 initial capex budget just to cover the roof if we have to really fix it. So that was another thing that we realized, that it's never easy on paper or by naked eyes that, okay, everything looks good, but when you go through it and do things, you might uncover lots of different things, right? And so one mistake we did, or ignorance, that since we had an idea that, okay, the property is good, we started our due diligence, I would say 4 to 5 days or a week after the contract, right? We could have started day one. Because of the interest rate rise, we're not sure that, okay, are we going to get a good rate or not? we could have started all in parallel. But we were looking for a good rate from CBRE, because when we got a CBRE rate, we are so excited because it's a CBRE and we are also building we are all new, right? So we are also building a CBRE credit, saying that, okay, we do have a agency debt experience after 4 or 5 years, right? So we got so excited with the loan, we forgot about the actual due diligence, right? We should have started on day one itself. So because of that, when we all find out this roof and other things, I think the due diligence period was over, and only the physical inspection was over, only the financial due diligence period was left. So we could not negotiate on that 50,000 or 80,000, whatever that deal is. But since seller had motivated that and he felt like, okay, we could close it quickly as possible, and seller wanted to close it in June itself, and that time seller wanted to close it much faster, not in July. And he said, I'm willing to close it sooner, but I can only pay you $30,000. And we felt like, since we already have a line of credit approved and we felt like it's a good deal, we said, okay, whatever you get it from seller, we'll take it, right? So that's why we took it, the $30,000, and prepared all our documentation and targeting for that June. And another thing was with the local bank, with the existing relationship, they were okay, they were ready to close it in 2 weeks, while the agency takes 60 days, right? Minimum 60 days end to end. So that's the reason we felt confident that we could close it in June, but seller somehow did not give any reason, said, okay, I need to close it in after June 30th. Then we picked July 7th because that was the contract end date. And but it did not come easy on the day of closing too, because there was a argument around security deposit. It's around $10,000 or $8,000 security deposit. The seller said that I did not really. So in the contract, it had the renter will pay, let's say, $1,000 security deposit, but renter did not pay it or seller did not collect it. But they said, okay, since I did not collect it, I'm not going to pay that security deposit. Right? Then we had to go through the contractual thing and broker and everyone. Like, the closing started 9 o'clock in the morning and it ended in 5 p.m. just to negotiate on that security deposit, saying that, okay, since it's a contract, it's a legal binding, that even if you have not collected it, you have to pay it because it's a tenant money, right? Tenant might always come back and say, I already paid it to the previous seller. So we collected that, and finally we closed it on around 4 p.m., 5 p.m. on Friday. So it's been, I would say, it's been great experience for me, Carlos, Jeff, the new guys, on various topics, right? Pet rent. When we did the inspection, we found out there is some pets but the pet rents are not being charged. Then we realized those are the service pet, right? So service pet you cannot charge. But there is not a doctor's note or a certificate saying those are a service pet, right? And the seller did not care much. And we also, I don't think we'll care much. It's just a 12 unit, right? So I think, but it's a good learning to ask for documentation or additional stuff whenever, if you have 100 unit and 50% of things are service pets, right? So I think, but these are the good learnings that we're just keeping track of it, that we'll try to apply the need arise.
Just a comment on that, Satya. Yeah, that previous seller did not, care about whether they have a paid or not paid, right? You guys also asking for some documentations, but the tenant are saying that they are, and these pets are service pets, right? So I mean, they have to provide you that documentations. If not, then you can always evict them, or you can do the addendum, and then have them pay for the paid, for the having luxury of paid, right? Because trust me, I have gone through that. A pet will destroy everything. Carpet, you have to replace once they move out, you have to replace all everything. So it will take you like a couple of thousand grands, to paint, to recarpet, everything's because all kind of smells that come from pets, and then also they tear and everything. The smell won't go even though you hire a professional cleaner within a pet, kind of that the smell removal still not good enough. So yeah, you can. I mean, that is what I I believe you need to get their documentation. If not, then tell them that they have to you have to do the new addendum and add the pet and deposit and everything whatever come destroyed or whatever comes from the pet that need to be replaced or repaired. They're responsible for that. So
Yeah.
you can deduct later on from their deposit to fix it.
Yeah, no, those are good. So I think it was just one unit where we realized that the pet rent is not being charged, but we could see the pet while doing the inspection. Yeah, but I think that was a good learning. Yeah, I think so. That's another thing that while doing the underwriting was that the rent estimate, right? So the 1,300 for end of year one, because if we simply go by the average, it might come around 1,500, right, or 1,400. But since when you go through the lease, and then we realize that half of the lease are ending this year, half of the lease are ending next year, we cannot get that one in year one, right? So that's why we have to reduce it. And I think this is how we prepared that business plan, saying that okay, there is I think this is Airbnb, what all things needs to be fixed, and based on the time, right? I think one of the MIH learning was, okay, if it is the lease is ending in winter time, try to pace it like 9 months or 11 months, 13 months, whatever, right, or 18 months, so that it doesn't end in the winter time. So that's why I think we do have plans to try out those rents like 1,315 to start with, and extend it to 1,400 and 1,450 in a year or so. And I think everyone feel confident that we should be able to achieve this. And let's see. So I think right now there is one unit vacant. The 6N is vacant because of this closing. We asked the previous seller not to market it because we want to try out because he used to market it in, I think it's $1,000 or something, but I think we wanted to market it little higher, so we did not want to wait another year to do it, right? So I think there are few which is also coming due, like this one, these two will come due the end of this month. So we're going to market it as 1,315, and we do feel that I think we should be able to achieve that. Because it has good things, like it has pets and it has feature wall, like one of the wall it's already being brick colored, set differently, looks nice. So I think said initially, definitely it's a turnkey. We don't have to do much with light touch up and painting, then landscaping outside, and cleaning up the common areas. That's it. I think we do feel confident that we should be able to achieve this projected rent. Yeah. Any other questions? Any feedback or anything that we should have done differently? Love to hear.
Hey Satya, I might have missed this, and you might have just said it. I'm not sure. In terms of the one unit that's the Airbnb, I know it's currently being rented for $945. What was your guys' thoughts on maybe increasing that rent? Because does that need any cosmetic touch-ups or anything like that? I think it maybe needed one or two when I was following the X's on the sheet.
Yeah. So the Airbnb one, it's ending in February, right? So we cannot do much, but we're just testing the market, right? So I think looks like this unit is being Airbnb price is $75 per night, weekdays, and weekend is $100 or something.
Mhm.
Our definitely goal is when this time arises, and we will definitely reach out, because that person did not sign the lease. We have a lease, but it's not signed, right? So we can always go and ask, okay, you are using it as a Airbnb, you will like to, and it's a 1 bed 1 bath, right? We are going to increase this rent, or you can move out, and then we run it as a Airbnb. Our goal definitely to have this one and another one in the same floor run as Airbnb. And but again, since these two are in 2024,
Mhm.
we have to wait. But I think we do still have an option to monitor it and see if we can make it work. I think we'll definitely talk to the person, because it doesn't have a signed lease. Say, okay, can you sign it? Or I don't know if we can increase the lease or increase the rent amount, because it's not being signed. That I think we have to find that out.
Okay. Question. That one which is expiring on the August 18 and July 31st. That you guys are trying to raise like 1315, right? From the 1190. Are you gonna do some light renovations, or it's just you wanna just let them go, move out, and then increase the rent without doing anything?
Yeah, I think so. So the goal is, so this one is already vacant, and we're going to put it into 1315, right? Hopefully, I think, but again, this is also this month. With this one, at least we have 1 month.
Yeah.
So the goal is, it's already hardwood floor, right? So this is already hardwood floor, and everything is all like, it has a feature wall too. If the owner stays, I think we are still going to charge 1315. And if they decide to move, I think they showed interest to stay, renew their lease. But I think we'll definitely, I think we'll discuss within the partners, say, okay, can we try 13? I think we all agreed that we should try 1315. Maybe we just send a message differently.
So have you spoken with the current tenant? Are they willing to continue, or
no? We have not, but we just told the seller that don't advertise this units yet, right? So I think we'll start in next few days. So worst case, if this two will go.
So you guys are
vacant.
sure that these two unit tenant will move out?
No, I think so. I think the worst case scenario, they will move out, but I think looks like, talking to the seller, it feel like they're planning to stay.
Okay.
Right. So, but our goal would be to increase it.
Yeah, I think since you already have property under your name, I think it's better to talk to the current tenant, and then let them know. And because it normally they have to provide you a month or 60 days. I don't know what about that state.
Yeah,
but
60
in
days.
Carolina, you have to at least let the owner or the property manager know that they are willing to continue renew their lease by 6 days earlier. If not, then they'll it's understand that tenant will move out, or owner doesn't want to do like that. So I think if they move out, when the turnover, it will be much more costlier than when you have current tenant who is willing to pay that amount. Let them know we are going to increase rent such and such, that what you have mentioned. And if they are comfortable, they will continue, and they will say that they're going to renew the lease. That way there won't be turnover. So when there's turnover, there's always you have to spend more money.
Yeah, I think we started our call with the property manager. So these are these 4 units is under our radar. So I think we'll have a plan and target rent defined.
Satya, was that like Broadway and 36th? Can you pull that map up again real quick?
Yeah. I think you know it better than me. So, but let me see. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. 36th Street. This is the site. What is the 38th? Main Street and 38th. And I think it's somewhere here.
Yeah. That's a great area.
Draw actually. Yeah, any other question, anyone?
Satya, is there any plans to do any cosmetic upgrades to the outside or anything else?
Yeah, I think outside was definitely touch-up paints on the door. Then landscaping, because we have to do really one-time landscaping too, because we realized the seller did not take good care when we were there to close the property. So we are doing a one-time, then I think that's the regular contract service. And there is areas I feel like just flowers and all, but I don't think, and the signage, I think we'll put the signage board. Those are the minor ones. I don't think we are planning to do any major outside renovation.
Very cool.
Yeah, and the biggest one would be the roof. So I'm sure that the day will come that we have to replace it and fix it, but we expect that, okay, if we can delay that for a couple of years, it would be good.
Very nice.
So Satya, who's managing your property? Is it like by yourself or?
No, so Amit and Pravin, so they have an in-house property management. So I think we are leveraging their property management company, and they do have properties already in that area. So yeah, so that's why, since it's a smaller unit, so that we're putting that 10%.
I didn't see, Satya, where did you guys end up like per unit for insurance?
Yeah, insurance, I think the estimate was around, I think where is the insurance, around 400. So I think we are getting around 4,800, I believe. So it's around the same, and it's the Amit's insurance company. So we got few quotes. I think we finally settled in one. I think it's 4,800, I believe, the actual insurance. It is maybe 400 per door. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything that I wanted to share.
Satya, thank you for presenting it. It was really good. I've heard a lot about this deal, so it's kind of nice to see the numbers in detail.
Yeah.
Well, I'll also say, Satya, kudos to the perseverance and the team, because this certainly didn't seem like an easy one. So you guys stuck it through, especially being offshore and all that. So I think that was great. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think I just said in the beginning, we're not expecting much out of this deal based on the rentometer and other things. And we said, okay, let's leverage this one just to gain experience, right? So, and with whatever we could get, that was good, like minimal 6%, 7% cash on cash or whatever it is. Now, when we learn the market and with talking to the locals, I think felt like it's a better deal, right? And now we have to execute our business plan and make it real, right? So it's still on paper. So right. So I think next few years would be crucial. Yeah, I think if anyone has anything else to share or talk about.
Satya, maybe I missed it, but what was your final loan to value?
Yeah, final loan to value was 75%.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So the local bank was actually
Yeah,
much better.
74. Yeah, I think, yeah, around 74, 75%.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I just want to, second Eric, congratulations and thank you for presenting the deal. It's nice to see it through.
Yeah.
Congrats to you all, Satya and Satya's team, and presenting your, pickups and, the learn, whatever you experience you learn. It's great for us too, so it's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if we don't have anything else, Asad, maybe we can end early, or if you want to add anything.